Hello fellow gamers, it's Wupine here. Today I just want to talk about the new DLC that just came out about a week ago. It's They Shall Not Pass. And I just basically going to just go over it and just ultimately tell you, is it worth it? Is it worth to buy and spend the $14.99, basically $15 for this new DLC? So basically you get all kinds of things. You get 4 new maps, you get 2 new vehicles, you get all kinds of new weapons. They also added 2 new operations and frontlines, which is a new game mode that they added. So let me just go the rundown for each one of these and ultimately give you my intake on some of these. And as a player, as a casual gamer who doesn't play all the time, who doesn't have the time to play as a gamer hours a day, every single day, is it worth spending the $15 to buy this new DLC? So the 4 new maps that you get are Rupture, Soissons, Verdun Hills or Verdun Heights, and Fort de Vaux. Now I don't speak French, so I don't really know how to pronounce these, but basically these maps are really great, and as you can tell that they're all visually stimulating. The game developers just basically just spent a lot of time working on the visuals, the buildings on all of these maps. You can tell that they worked really hard. So the first one I want to talk about is Rupture. Rupture is basically a giant river that goes straight to the middle of the map, and basically you start off starting on one side of the river, and your enemy starts on the other side. And there are some large buildings, there's some bunkers here and there, and it's kind of good. It's different. It's kind of strange because you have to. There's a few tunnels here and there that basically you can get away from people. There's some trench fighting going on there. If you're a trench fighter, that's awesome. If you're a sniper, there's also some great sniping spots. And you also have Soissons. Soissons is basically a giant hill overlooking a village, and it has a small river. So they both Rupture and Soissons are kind of similar. They kind of feel like they run off of each other in a way. They're both visually stimulating. Soissons has these this beautiful no, forgive me. Rupture has these beautiful flowers that on one side of the map, and you can tell that the game developers just spent their time making every single flower on that part of the map. They're really visually stimulating. And also you get Verdun Heights. This one's my favorite map. It's basically a set of hills and trenches surrounded by a ring of fire. It is a great map. There's a lot of everything for every kind of player on this map. It truly feels like the battlefield map that it should be. There's a lot of great sniping positions. There's a lot of hills, big giant hill actually. One team obviously is going to be at a disadvantage because they start downhill and then they kind of have to make their way uphill, especially in operations. And I'll get to operations later. But it's one of the best maps in my opinion. And you also have Fort de Vaux, which is a giant fort. And this is where Battlefield kind of went on a different direction as compared to all the other Battlefield maps and games. This one's more of like a closed-in space kind of battlefield. You fight inside a fort. There's a lot of corridors, a lot of chaos. It's definitely very shotgun friendly, and if you use trench type weapons, it's really friendly for that too. One downside of this one is that it kind of takes away the skill off of players. There's a lot of noob tubing going on, or a lot of grenades tossing, just so people can clear out the corridors. So it's a different style. They try to they tried to go into a different direction their uh, on their game. It's you'll see if you play it, but basically it's just there's not so much skill involved in this map, but it somehow works. It feels negative in a way, but it still works. So it's strange. And so let's talk about the vehicles. There's two vehicles. There's the new behemoth tank, the Char 2C, which basically is a giant tank. Basically, that's all it is. Like, it's just a giant tank that if properly used, you can definitely turn around a game. But what really kind of disappointed me about this tank, I did get a chance to ride in it. I never got to drive it, but I did get to ride it. The weapons on it are mostly machine gun fire. They really don't help against other vehicles, but fighting the infantry does help here and there, but the big cannon belongs to the driver, and that was kind of a disappointment because I wanted to use the cannons of this giant behemoth tank, and using the machine gun, I could use that anywhere. I could have my own machine gun out, or I can go into a sentry or fly a plane with the machine gun, or drive another tank with the machine gun. But it does have a lot of health, and it lasts a lot longer on a battlefield than your average tank. So it kind of works, and I feel like it balances out here and there. But if you have a terrible driver, then this tank is pretty much useless. It's still fun to get into it every now and then. So if properly used, like I said, would turn the tides over of a difficult game. And you have another tank. You may have seen it. It's not necessarily released just for the They Shall Not Pass DLC. I don't know the name of this tank, but it's I think it's called a tank hunter. I'm not sure. Correct me in the comments, but it's decent. It's kind of like a heavy tank, but a different shape, and it's flatter. I tend to get on pretty much any vehicle that I can come across. And so for the new weapons, I haven't really tried many of the new weapons. In fact, I don't really care much to try for the new weapons. The reason being is because I've been playing this game for a while now, and I've already chosen my favorite weapons. I don't care to use any other weapons unless I just want to try them out, and I probably will later on. But I already set myself on the guns that I'm gonna use just to fight. It's more fun for me when I get more kills, because I know how the weapon works, than when just trying a new weapon and I don't really know how this weapon works. And yeah, I don't want to be frustrated while playing. I don't have the time as many other gamers to, have the chance to try every single weapon in this game. I already chosen my favorite weapons, and I'm already set with that. So also, I'm really big into operations. I really love the game mode, and I was really excited when I found out that they were gonna add two operations: Devil's Anvil and Beyond the Marne. So basically, it's a combination of the four new maps that I told you earlier. Devil's Anvil is basically Verdun Heights and Fort de Vaux, and Beyond the Marne is Rupture and Soissons. And let me retrace my steps on these maps again. So on Verdun Heights and Fort de Vaux, on whatever game mode you play them, there's really not that much. There's no vehicles, or there's rarely any vehicles on those two maps. Definitely there is no vehicles in Fort de Vaux. I have not seen one. The only thing I've noticed when a team is losing is that they release a super kit or super kits, which they just release a bunch of kits all at once, such as the sniping tank hunter kit, the fire kit, the sentry kit, all those kits, all at once when that team is losing. And I think if they last a little longer, I'm not sure, but it kind of works out for the fort map. And Verdant Heights, I didn't see any of that, and I didn't really see any vehicles either. So, but then again, I didn't get the chance to be on a losing team. I didn't. Every time I played on Verdant Heights, my team always won, or we were always stalemate. There was really no release of a vehicle or a super kit or super kits. Now beyond the Marne, they're pretty vehicle heavy. These two maps, Rupture and Soizon. Again, you'll see the new Behemoth tank. There's all kinds of vehicles, artillery, tanks, and planes. There's planes galore on Soizons. No, on Rupture. On Rupture, is extremely plane heavy, and that was pretty cool to see a lot of planes in the air. Now the new game mode that they created, it's Frontlines, which basically is a 32-player map, so 16 by 16. I really like it. It's my second favorite at the moment because there is a lot of chances for you to kill a lot of players. So if you just want to go on a killing spree, just play that game mode and you'll rank up at least 60, 70, even 100 kills on that one game mode alone. Because the reason why is because the game mode is so long. It lasts for such a long time. It can go on forever. I don't think I've ever seen one on videos or myself experiencing any of Frontlines just ending because of a time. It just goes on until somebody wins, and I thought that was pretty cool. But also it can be annoying because unless if you know that you're gonna have the time to play the game for hours, this game mode is really not for you. But if you know that you're not gonna have time for playing this, then it's fine. Don't play. There's other game modes. But if you do have the time, it's a great game mode to play. It's just killing folks. You're just mowing down folks all the time, and it's awesome. I was able to snipe almost 70-80 players on different game mode, on that same game mode, and it just feels so good. Like it's a different game mode that I was introduced to. Now with all of this that I've said, now is it $15? Is this worth it? Well, my honest answer is maybe and yes, it is. I'm gonna get to you why the maybe in a second. Yes, because gaming on the same maps and using the same vehicles and weapons and doing the same operations and doing the same things over and over and over again for months, it gets kind of very boring. It just is monotonous. It's the same thing over and over again. But although if you play with friends, you still have fun here and there. Especially if you're a player that plays all the time, it can get very boring. And at one point, I did manage to have the time on, I think it was like Christmas break or something like that, where I was just playing Battlefield 1 for hours and hours and hours on end, and it literally got boring for me. But if you're a player that just occasionally gets on, like maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours a week, if you're just too busy, you just get on because somebody invites you, or just you have a set day just to play this game, and you really don't care to pay or waste money on a game that you know you're not going to be playing for very much. And especially when new games are coming out, especially this summer, new blockbuster hits are going to come out. There's lots of games out there just to waste your time with. then maybe it depends up to you if you rather just buy it or not. If you're the cheap player, then definitely. If you're a cheap player or a cheap person or just doesn't waste money on video games, then no, it's not worth it for you. That maybe really depends on the person. But if you do play this game constantly or a lot, or just like me, I'm a casual player and I play with people and it's fun. I invite friends constantly. I don't have the time to play hours every single day, but I definitely play about 5 hours a week, 6 hours sometimes, maybe even 8. I don't know. I don't really count my hours, so it's definitely worth it for a person like me. So I would definitely, all these things that they added in the new DLC was definitely worth it. It was a refresher for me. I've been playing this game for months, and I was excited for all these new things. I love the new operations. It was not the same old operations that I always do. The new game modes, even just getting in the new tank occasionally, and I also have the option to revert back to the other maps if I really want to, if I want to change it up. So yes, it's definitely worth it. Oh, one other thing I wanted to add. The premium pass. For someone like me, is definitely not worth it. The premium pass is too expensive. I don't really care for the additional things that they add to the game. But again, it's up to the person. It is definitely worth it for someone who plays 8 hours a day this game. The premium pass is definitely worth it for those kinds of players. But someone who's a casual gamer, a noobish gamer, someone who just likes to just play for fun, the premium pass is really not that worth it. You do get the new DLCs earlier by 2 or 3 weeks, and that's great if you really want that. You get new weapons, new vehicles. You get all kinds of stuff. New, I think a tag or something. But for me, that I really don't care to have the game mode, or the maps or the game modes 2 weeks earlier. It's really not that important for me. I can always wait. So the premium pass definitely is not worth it, unless you're playing 8 hours a day. And also, if you have a friend that has a premium pass, you can play everything. You don't even need to buy the Channel Pass. You don't even need to spend any money on any premium pass or the new DLC. If you have a friend that already has a premium pass, they can invite you to play in all these maps. The only thing that that they cannot use are the new vehicles and the new weapons, and that's totally fine. If I didn't have a friend, I don't really have friends that have the premium. So if I did, I would not have bought the They Shall Not Pass DLC. But that's just my intake. That's basically my experience of how I've been playing these maps for about this new DLC for about a couple of days now, and I've been having a great time. So I totally think it's worth it. If you really want it, you could go spend the money and buy it. If not, it's up to you. It doesn't matter. It's all just do whatever you want. Do what you do. And yeah, leave comments and tell me what you think about the new DLC. I would love to hear your feedback on all the new things, on all the new maps, and all the new vehicles, all the new weapons, everything that you experience. Tell me what you like about each map or weapon or vehicle. Tell me what you don't like. I would like to hear your comments, and I want to see if I agree with you or not. It doesn't matter my opinion. I'm not a professional review person or anything like that. I just want to bring this community together and just make friends and post videos because I like having fun doing it. But yeah, guys, please share, like, and subscribe. And thanks so much for watching. This is Wupon here, and from one noob to another, keep on grinding. Until next time, folks.